spoke directly to the nation for 16 dramatic minutes from the Oval Office. In his remarks, he drew a vivid picture of the recklessness and immorality of this shocking act. Reagan had felt that way about what the Soviets did from the moment his national security advisor reported it to him. He waited, though, for the right moment to respond, when other leaders were mostly done speaking, to launch his verbal salvo of disgust. There was no disguising how he felt when he went before the cameras in the Oval Office to sum up what he thought. He appeared sober and concerned. This was not a watered-down, rambling statement. His words were like heat-seeking, confrontational missiles. His words, but more his beliefs, locked onto and hit the target. The verbal strikes were specific and unequivocal. He included a substantial list of actions he was taking and actions he was asking the United Nations and allies the world over to initiate as a result of the downing of KAL 007. His presentation to the American people on September 5th reflected his view that standards of human behavior had been broken, standards that he supported unwaveringly. He also, cleverly, played the tape of the pilots in the Soviet attack plane, which showed they had clearly executed a deliberate act while describing it in detail to an alarmed ground crew. It was critical that Reagan played that tape in the wake of continual Soviet denial of their complicity in the tragic downing. Again, he was attempting to let an evil system destroy itself by dramatically unmasking and exposing it in plain sight to the world. He was betting on widespread moral repudiation from a moral audience. He let the Soviet downing be prosecuted in the court of global public opinion. Importantly, Reagan believed in empowering his constituency through his oratory because he respected them. He was a uniter. He attempted in every talk to bring Americans together, to project a position of strength to the world. He knew he needed more than the power of his words to win his way in the theater of global opinion. He needed the American people behind him and with him. To place this incident in a global context, which was typical of his strategy with most issues, Reagan said that night from the Oval Office in the following excerpts I have reordered to emphasize their importance. And make no mistake about it, this attack was not just against ourselves. This was the Soviet Union against the world and the moral precepts which guide human relations among people everywhere. It was an act of barbarism, born of a society which wantonly disregards individual rights and the value of human life, and seeks constantly to expand and dominate other nations. Let me state as plainly as I can, there was absolutely no justification, either legal or moral, for what the Soviets did. But despite the savagery of their crime, the universal reaction against it, and the evidence of their complicity, the Soviets still refuse to tell the truth. Indeed, they've not even told their own people that a plane was shot down. During his remarks, he referred to the U.S. Congress with respect as that distinguished body, and continued his bipartisan reach by quoting from former Democratic Senator Henry Scoop Jackson, Democrat from Washington, and also from President John F. Kennedy. Finally, seeking to draw the listeners up close and to unite them, he ended this way: let us have faith in Abraham Lincoln's words, that right makes might, and that in faith let us to the end dare to do our duty as we understand it. If we do, if we stand together and move forward with courage, then history will record that some good did come from this monstrous wrong, that we will carry with us and remember for the rest of our lives. Who was this president who had the